chance to come on. All right. Want to invite you to come on and join us. It's a good day to be alive, a good day to have conversation. Invite someone, share, double tap. Hank Seth, HMK Seth, I see you. Forgive me for being a little late. I was delayed in my arrival. All right. Share and let someone know we're on. Let someone know that we are live. Make sure that the volume that you can hear. All right. Give me 1 second. All right. We are glad to have the opportunity to be able to have a conversation. Have you reached out to Slay yet? No, but that is something that is in the works. All right. All right. Oh, shoot. All right. So, I want to encourage us to not. Say things that would get us flagged on TikTok. Now, certainly you can't. I'm not talking about us telling the story or what have you, but I am talking about this whole. We don't want to sound like we're making plans to, do anything that shouldn't be done. But certainly, I want us to acknowledge that our story is getting out, and I appreciate those to whom are supporting and sharing, those to whom are allowing other people to know. And it seems that I wasn't even going to get on here. You all know I said that we wanted to just take a little bit of a break, but I also don't want to deny anyone the right to have their own conversation, to be able to express their own feelings or what have you. Because everyone's, one of the things I would like to point out is that it's important that we remember that everyone's feelings matter, everyone's experience matters. Um, Last night we had the opportunity to hear from two of the individuals to whom were speaking, and I think that it's important that we do this because it cements this understanding that this is real, right? Um, I can assure you, I have a whole lot of other things that can be done, and I can assure you that I have a lot of other things that need to be done. But I make sure that I create this opportunity as these individuals are coming out and showing up because I remember what it felt like to be talking and feeling like I'm not being heard or what I'm saying didn't matter. And we're not going to do that. All right. Um, Let me see here. All right. So, I want to give you all an update. My mother is doing quite well. She's doing quite well. She's adjusting, um, getting settled, and Craig Goins, thank you so much. I pray that we're able to get my grandmother as well. Um, someone posted earlier. Someone posted earlier, and tonight I can assure you it is not going to be. It's not going to be a long night. Someone posted a quote earlier and said, Harriet Tubman wrote, "I could have freed a whole lot more people had they realized that they were enslaved." And that stuck with me because of the fact that so many times people can. I think that by now, so many of us have heard enough to know that there is a situation. So many of us have listened, and not only now have we been going live, but there are others and have shared those accounts. And I was in a conversation with someone earlier and thought about this whole concept of start from the beginning and tell the story. And the fact of the matter is that when we think about this organization, you have the beginning that I was, like I said, I was born into the church, but then you have this whole idea of it's almost like a compartmentalized existence in regards to you have I was born into the church. I think I said last night, 1991 and 98, not a whole lot happened that I would remember that was so significant. But it's interesting that last night we had someone talking who was older in the church at the time and their experience. And one of the things that I said to someone else that I was talking to is that even before we get to all of this stuff with regards to abuse and things, two things that seem to be consistent in conversation when we talk about what we have dealt with here. Um, as much as I love what I remembered what I call old Open Door to be, there was always a control factor that that I don't think that we should ignore. I think that one of the things we have to know how to do, and now I am in leadership, I believe in accountability. I believe in accountability. I don't believe, excuse me, I don't believe in this overreach where a pastor or religious leader, what have you, should have to govern day-to-day affairs, should govern what you're saying, what you're doing in regards to who you're talking to, and that kind of a thing. seem to be existent even before when we came to South Carolina. Now, I think that whenever you are a part of anything, be it a church, club, whatever, uh, once your expression of who you are starts to be hindered, and I know that you put on something a little different when you go into church and when you're in the street. And nowadays, I think that some are wearing the same thing. But yes, of course, you'll wear. Always true. Yeah, you'll always wear. What's considered decent. But once we get to this thing of certain people can't wear this and certain people can't do that, this exclusionary thing, that's not healthy. That's not healthy. And one of the things I've heard said, and I do agree with, is that we don't park our brains at the door when we walk into the church or to wherever. You always need to be at a place where you can think for yourself. And if you're in anything, one of the hallmarks of this whole deal with have faith is you thinking for yourself was not something that was promoted. You thought for yourself in regards to what, and so to attend to this whole thing of, because last night this came up, and we have someone that's going to come on. Say, hey, I knew you would be back on today. I really did not intend to be back on today. But one of the things I would say about last night, this whole thing of when this keeping secrets and talking up. Now, if you've not ever been in a situation where having hope that didn't, the Bible says it this way, hope deferred makes the heart sick. If you've not ever been in a situation where having hope didn't get you anywhere, it would be hard to understand why it was easier sometimes to just not say anything at all. I can think of a story when my mother, I was in 4th grade, and my godmother, the individual with whom we lived, was in the hospital, and my mother got ready to leave. I think I told you, I don't know what made her even call to tell Elder Johnson, Dwayne Johnson Sr., that she was leaving. I don't know what made her call to tell him that she was leaving. But because of the fact that he knew how to work people's minds, I've said it in times past, that brother can sell ice to the Eskimo. And so I said all of that to point out, we talked about that letter yesterday, but we see, I posted where someone else put that same exact letter on one of the videos, posted it on one of the videos as though it was their own. Now, I'm all for coordinated efforts and group efforts and all of that, but I ain't for losing my voice in order to become your voice. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's okay. So you have these two different individuals who writes this one letter and posting, but that's the kind of thing that happened. Hey, I want everyone, when we were younger, there was this big push to write letters to the stars, write letters to Oprah, write letters to Tyler Perry. Well, what we supposed to be talking about? What the ministry's done for you. So we have to, there are videos on YouTube right now as we speak, unless they've been taken down, where people are getting up, giving these testimonials of how the ministry helped and how the ministry brought us from here. And first of all, people don't want to discuss and openly record the most intimate areas of their lives. People don't want to come and talk about, and even if someone does, it should be their decision. It's not, I remember my mother being told to get up and give a testimony about something she went through that we didn't even know as her children, and I can remember her saying, no, I want to talk to my children first, because what she wound up telling was something that was a very intimate secret to her that something she had. I don't know how they found out because that's her oldest son. I didn't even know, right? Part of this whole narrative of this cult is they use other people's pain in order to promote their mission, in order to promote their ideologies. And so, because for me, why is it that everybody who came around had to be broken and destitute and had to be so broke down? And there were people who came in, particularly when we got the Alkalu. I remember one couple for certain that came in based on donating to the church because of what they heard they did with young people. Interestingly enough, I never seen that elderly couple on a video. I said that as we're in the midst of this. I remember having to sit down. The individual that's joining us tonight, I don't know if he'll remember, but I will see. I remember getting in trouble for something. I don't remember what. And part of the redemption deal was write a letter talking about what all the ministry done for you. Well, it's interesting that you want me to write the letter about you gave us a place to stay and took us in, and my mother got on one video and said taught her how to cook and all of these things, but we have to conveniently leave out that we are not allowed to contact our fathers. We're not allowed to have relationship with our families outside of the ministry. So the reason why I go into the reason why I'm going so hard is because of the fact that my grandmother does not have the voice to say, or the strength to say, or the courage to say, I'm not okay with this. So let's remember the whole conversation, because I don't want how this got started to be misconstrued with what it is that we're beginning to see. This whole thing got started because of the fact that I apologize for asking the question about why I didn't use it. No. I'm not. I get you, and I understand why people will want to know why didn't we tell. But I want to make sure that we are not attacking anyone. And I'm right here with this whole thing of I've been talking for years. I'm talking about even since being out. But this whole thing started because of the fact that Saturday evening, when my grandmother was folded up in that bed, up under that cover, saying, "Please, I don't want any more trouble, and I'll find another way to get out. I'll find another way out. I'll find a way to stay in contact with you all." Now, that shouldn't even be a conversation. I was in a conversation last night after the live, and one of the things that I said was, I don't think who all talking now. Oh, it's just one person talking tonight. I'll let him introduce himself when he comes on. It's only one person to my knowledge. To my knowledge, it's only one person. Not to my knowledge. I'm saying I only intend to have one person, because y'all, we can't do 4 hours tonight. We started at what? I got on here a little late, but we started at about 8 o'clock. Yeah, we're gonna be off of here about 10. But and now let me say this: we appreciate all of us who have spoken out. All of us who have spoken out appreciate your support. Your grandmother was raised in a time that using your voice could get you killed. That trauma never leaves, and had 35 years of more trauma. Yeah, let me pin this post. Let me pin that and say something about that. We thank y'all, Manning and whoever else. Y'all have really shown out. And I'm going to personally tell you, it's refreshing because of the fact that 3 years ago, when I first really publicly blew the whistle about this stuff, okay, Tyrone, I'll bring you back on until our other guest join. Hold on a minute, let me see here. 3 years ago, when I first publicly blew the whistle about this, it didn't get nearly as massive as this. But I mean, from Saturday to now, I've been getting inboxes and getting tagged in things and messages on TikTok how this is one, opening people's eyes, but two, inspiring people to want to be more proactive about doing something. And I don't even think it's just about this situation, but the others that are like it. One individual sent the message concerning the fact that because of the fact that they've been in a similar situation, that they want to help bring awareness, they want to help bring alert. And yes, Tegan, I love how people are coming out as witnesses, particularly because for 16 years, although I knew that there were others, I felt like I was by myself saying these things happen, particularly when people are beginning to what, not beginning, but it's always been, those are lies, those things are not true. Tyrone, I'll I'll yield and give you the opportunity to speak if you so desire. Let me turn my. All right, go ahead.
This thing going on with your grandmother, it reminded me of like my cousins. I've told my cousins what happened, and then how you know, it kept you from getting your grandmother to leave. They wouldn't even allow me to go see my grandmother on her deathbed, uh, and over to the funeral.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And all because apparently, oh, she was corrupt. Now, this is her own son, my father, saying this. But yeah, he went to see her, and he brought his, I mean, not that I don't claim them, but he brought his kids to go see them. Don't even know that that's their grandmother. Never even bothered to get to know them because she didn't live in the cult. And it's like,
yeah.
you could bring them there, but he literally threatened me not to go see my own grandmother on her deathbed.
And when we think about family, I'll never forget when my mother's father died. My mother and I were in Piggly Wiggly. This was the year of 2000. We were in Piggly Wiggly, and my mother was like, "Oh man, I'm not going to be able to go to my father's funeral." Lord have mercy. Another story just came to my mind. Write it down. No, you know what? That's not even my story to tell, so I can't tell that. My mother said I won't be able to go to my father's funeral, and I don't remember asking her anything about it. I just remember hearing her say it. And well, first of all, I didn't even think that she had intended to go, because the other thing is, in this construct, they don't really believe in proper funerals and proper burials, up to and including when his mother, Dwayne Johnson Sr.'s mother, died. She was the mother for the church. And when she died, it was a very closed off ceremony, and he came back preaching about the fact that he said he put his mama in a pine box and a nice little flowery dress. I kind of remember him saying, I think. But one of the things I remember him saying, let me pen this. I remember him saying, I should have burned her. It ain't no need in putting all that money in the ground. And as I understand, in this construct and in this day, they don't do people in casket funerals. That when someone dies there, my understanding is that they are cremated. If your mother was in the community till just a few days ago, and that is her mother, why did they not put her over power of attorney instead of putting someone else? My mother has never had power of attorney over her mother. And first of all, let's talk about the fact my grandmother doesn't need a power of attorney. There is nothing wrong with my grandmother's mind. There is not one thing wrong with my grandmother's mind. Power of attorney was established. I don't know exactly when. But I can give an estimate. I do remember I was in it when there was an issue when they found out that my grandmother was sending money down to Jacksonville, Florida, to her mother and to the family down there, because she had a pretty decent job up in New York working at a hospital that she had worked at for 38 years. and she made pretty good money. And my mother is her only child, but and so us four are her only grandchildren. But her mother sometimes needed money, whatever. So my grandmother sent her money, and the church found out. Dwayne Johnson found out that my grandmother was sending her money. And this was before she moved to Alcaloo. This was when she was still living in New York. And at the time, she was living in and renting a room in his house that he owned in New York at one time. And so at that, when they found out about that, the church took over her finances. And I'm thinking that it's at that time, I know for sure it's at that time that his oldest sister began to help steward her resources, quote unquote. Now, for the sake of a step, first of all, let me say I'm not sure of that I'm not sure of that definitely, because I can't tell you an exact date. But what I can tell you is there became a point where there was a joint account open at Bank of America that had somebody's name. I'm assuming it was probably the older sister and my grandmother's. I can also tell you that my grandmother does not know anything about that Bank of America account, what the balance is, what was coming in. She knows her pension check was going there, but she does not know what was coming out. Now, I hate to go into this a whole lot, but I'm going to, because the fact of the matter is, I said to her Saturday that we have talked about some things, and you requested some things of me. That is what causes me to know you're not content to be here. And one of those things was, she said to me on the phone when she used to have to sneak to call me 7 o'clock in the morning while I was driving, but don't let me die here like some of these others. And they just, at one time it was, the rumor was that you're buried the next day or whatever. But at this point, my understanding is that people are being cremated. Now, the other thing that the church had everyone in the church, as I understand, had the right, based on conversations with some of us who have left here. Now this started after I left. The church has them write these letters called One Heartbeat something. And Tyrone, you know anything about One Heartbeat? Mm-hmm. All right, I'll let you. You can share your expertise on One Heartbeat letters, because that happened after me. I've just heard it in conversation as we've been talking the past few days. My mother and my sisters have talked about it. But go ahead, you can give us the expertise on One Heartbeat letters.
I feel like when they started it, they tried to use my father's daughter because she was born preemie or whatever, and I feel like they tried to use her experience over those letters to try to get donations and people to give to Alcaloo. Mind you, I don't know what is this. I don't want to call donors' names out, but they were able to get some people, not like millionaires like Tyler Perry, they've been forcing us to write over the years and all these other people, but they can persuade the hell out of people.
I ain't lying. You don't ever go around there if you weak-minded. Don't go around there if you weak-minded, because you will find yourself stuck. You will find yourself agreeing to things that you never would agree to. Does she have a last will? I'm quite sure she does. I have a story about last wills, and I'll tell that story after Tyrone finishes.
Oh yeah, but like I said, they used that off of his daughter's experience and how she came about or whatever, even though she was a preemie and all. And honestly, not for nothing, a lot of those letters, like I said, they got donations from people because they used that, her incident, her experience being born a preemie or whatever. They tried to focus it more on her or, somebody battling cancer. No one God forgive me, but you know good and well that that birdie's nesting place is not no.
It's not a can. It's not a
Exactly.
cancer house. We gonna talk about Birdie's nesting place too, the cancer house, cause I got something to say about that. I forgot about the cancer house.
And the crazy thing is, the person they named it after, yes, that was a sister of the cult leader, but it was like she was my guardian angel. She was nothing like
Nothing like them. Nothing like them.
I was like, every time I came to New York, back when where it was split custody between my parents or whatever, like she used to take me from my father, and I stayed under her the entire time. And I used to love that because she did not take no, like how my father was a militant and always wanted me by his side, and I couldn't go with nobody. Though she didn't play that. She was like a guardian angel to me, and that's why when I found out she had passed, man, that thing. That it was so personal. I was like,
Yeah.
bruh. But nah, that them with this fakeness and using all it, everybody like certain people's personal things that even though it was in the cult, I mean nobody planned that my sister would be born a preemie, but they tried to use
Use
that
it.
to have people find sympathy.
They will exploit
Yeah.
the devil out of somebody's story.
It's for real.
Oh, yeah. She was on drugs and she got here and got cleaned up. It ain't too many he's because there ain't too many he's around there. But they will find a reason to take your story. And the problem is I will never forget how uncomfortable my mother was. Yeah, there is. Said Christy Richardson said there's a GoFundMe for that girl from just a couple months ago, claiming it was for various charities. But if you scroll to the bottom of the GoFundMe, the only beneficiary listed is Have Faith, and that GoFundMe is for a total of $377,000. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I don't know quite where that individual is planning to go to college, but if the degree costs $377,000, I tell you what, that ain't Ivy League. That's Major League. But about Birdie's nesting place here, because here it is. The Bible says, and Dwayne Johnson Sr. loves to quote this verse. The Bible says he quotes it a little. Well, he quotes it in another version. The King James version that he really likes says, "Piety begins at home." He says, "Charity begins at home." So you have this cancer home. Now, I'm not going to call names in this regard because this is a little bit of a sensitive piece, but you have this cancer home that you advertise as a place where people who have cancer can come and they can get respite and they can be pampered and yada da 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 and da 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 and all of this. Now, I know of at least one person in that commune that had cancer and died with it, unfortunately. And I don't know of not one day that this individual who had cancer in your organization, I don't know of one day that somebody from your church stayed in that cancer home and got pampered and all of this and all of that. Well, if it's for that purpose, seem like to me, charity begin at home, quoting the preacher himself.
That part. They definitely didn't do.
I mean, I don't know not one day. I mean, I wasn't there, so maybe I might be wrong. Maybe she stayed one day and I just didn't know it. But I can tell you what, all of that advertising and all that raising money that we did for, and not we, because I wasn't there, but you know that was done for that cause. And along the line, I see this newfound interest in raising money for autism. What is that? People been autistic for years. Matter of fact, I'm going to go all the way back to what I'm going to call the old Open Door days. There was a choir. There was a group of us on the choir. I was a part of it. Called the Up Syndrome Choir. And the play on words was because some of us were considered Down syndrome or handicapped. So they didn't say Down syndrome, they said Up syndrome. And I was on that because of the fact that I could not speak because I didn't talk. And I didn't say my first words till I was 3. and I didn't fully learn to talk until I guess I was 4 or 5, and I just never learned to shut up after that. I guess that's why I'm on here now. But we was on the Up Syndrome Choir. Now, I'm almost convinced that somebody on that choir way back in the early '90s probably had autism. Wasn't raising money for autism back then. Why are we raising money for autism now?
But knowing, honestly, I feel like I can answer that. Because they feel like so much money goes into fundraising for autism outside, so they wanted to to that. So that's why they started raising money for autism. And they claim, I'm not sure if it's true, because I haven't been there in 6 years, and he didn't have this problem while I was there. So if they did something to him, I don't know, but it is said that my brother has now started to experience autism out of the blue. So it's like, I don't know what's going on over there. But like I said, everything's about money, so they had to get a piece of it.
Okay, you know what? My sister Siobhan is on here. I'm going to pin her because I need, oh Lord, another story. Yes, she used to always stick up for me when they called me stupid or dumb because I didn't understand the worksheet papers for the school. And in this regard, my sister is talking about the individual for whom that house, Birdie's Nesting Place, is named. Now, I want to talk about this since my sister mentioned this. So are they really doing the health care? Yes, I'll pin your comment and talk about that in a minute. Yes, they do have a home health agency. My sister has a learning disability. My sister Siobhan. And I remember hearing, I was younger, but I remember hearing about this whole thing of the school recommended her for accommodations and modifications in special ed. Now, I'm told that the first lady of the church went to the school with my mother after my mother had filled out the papers for her to be in special ed, ripped up the paper, said she don't need that, and demanded that she be put back in a regular class. She was not successful that school year, and they wound up placing her in special ed the next year. Fast forward. Now, again, let me say, for the sake of clarity, that's what I'm remembering hearing when I was younger, as we were talking, as the adults around the house talked. Now, what I do know is she didn't need that all the way back then when they wanted to start raising money for Alkalu turned into, oh, take her and get her a check because she has a handicap. Well, the problem was at 19 years old, they didn't feel like a learning disability stopped you all before y'all done graduated her in your sham school, done pushed her along, and now all of a sudden she has a learning disability. Now we got to get her a check. She was denied, and I ain't mad that they denied her.
That's what they did. Shit.
Because at the end of the day, you getting enough Social Security check. I'm telling you now, I can't wait for Social Security to get hold to them and find out what's been going on with this money. No, you haven't missed a lot. We just Social Security.
I remember when it used to be not a secret, but he never used to say it in front of the children. Do you remember when the adults used to have the meeting and we had to go in the kitchen in the church in Somerton?
Yep. Yes, sir.
He finally, when we moved to Alkalu, I had to be a teenager. Well, not when we moved to Alkalu, but it happened afterwards. And by the time I was about 16, that's when he was like, I'm not about to have separate conversations anymore. Everybody's tax returns need to be turned into me.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a job, a government job, they once you get your tax returns, they need to be turned into me. Mind you, like I said, when we were just kids, we didn't know nothing about tax returns, and we didn't even care about that. After a certain time, once we grew up and we started getting, government official jobs, like working at the voter registration office or whatever, then once you get your tax return, yeah, you got to turn that into him, and you better not spend it. And mind you, the cancer patient that that we mentioned has passed away now. That was in that organization. I remember he humiliated her because she got her tax returns and she needed to spend some on groceries. And then, of course, gas for her vehicle. Then she turned the rest over. And he was furious that she spent a dime of her own money.
Of her own money. Oh, man. Okay. All right. So, first of all, no, they don't have a home health facility. They have a home health care business where my mother actually worked for them. Obviously, she's no longer employed. But they go into homes. They don't have... I don't know how many clients they have now, but I don't think they have a large clientele list anymore. But they have that kind of that's what home health, and that was mostly started because they had so many vulnerable and aging adults that needed nurses, and they didn't want to. It's always about keep the money inside. So instead of paying somebody else to come in and take care of Bishop R.P. Johnson or some of the other older people that were aged and needed those resources, everybody works for the bishop. At one time it was like that, but then the money ran out and they needed more money, so people went and got real jobs. When I was there, almost nobody had a real job. Now everybody had to go get real jobs. It's always about keep the money inside. But someone said something about teachers at the school. There was only one teacher at that private school that was certified, and I tried to make noise about that, but in South Carolina, the law is that you don't have to have certified teachers for a private school. Now, my sister's and my sister also worked for that home health agency. Oh, Lord, okay.
Oh, yeah,
well,
forced me to work for
Nicole Dingle here says she used to work for that home health agency, and I'm just curious. Okay, so for those of y'all who used to work for the home health agency, I just gotta ask, because I remember when I was there was always this conversation of we're gonna open businesses and we ain't paying nobody minimum wage. Everybody gonna be making $10 to $12 an hour. Now this was back when this was 2010, so making $10 to $12 an hour sounded really good compared to whatever minimum wage was at that time. I don't think that it changed very much. I'm just confused. I just need to know this for me. Any of y'all that used to work for let me not call the name of the business, for the home health care agency? I guess you can kind of guess the name of the business, but no, they're not Mormons. Morons, but not Mormons. Anybody that worked for that agency, did you make $10 to $12 an hour?
Shit.
Boy. Because the other thing that everybody is talking about.
Oh man, excuse that. I'm sorry. I meant to say no.
With some, it's still
it's crazy because not only, and even with that, man, they still try to shortchange you. If you turn in your worksheet for the week and you put exactly what you did, and in detail, if you went a little extra, oh, well, we can't pay you for that. You should have just did that out of the kindness of your heart. Nigga, this is a job. I'm not doing that. Talking about the kindness of y'all got a nerve to talk about the kindness of somebody's heart.
No, Miss Peaches Dingle, not you. I said Nicole Dingle. She said she used to work for me. I didn't say Miss Peaches Dingle. That's Facebook. Listen, and it was nothing to hear that. But we found out last night that comes from the old Open Door days, that you work for the church for free. Do it out and be a blessing. Step out on faith. So I saw a certain person of.
I hate going on vacation with them. Like, they were forced And I think you.
Cuppy Doodle, that we talked about that. I think if you talking about that letter, we talked about that last night. But yeah, TikTok keeps freezing for me. But AT&T buried new line. Funny, we don't use them anymore. Okay.
But no, not for nothing. You were
Oh,
right.
okay. My sister said, I'm sorry, Tyrone. My sister said it was $7.50, and after you work for a year, it was raised to $8.50. That's a good dollar raise. That's beautiful, boy.
But nah, that you was around when they used to force us to have Christmas together, right?
Yeah, cause we had to go down to Florida or wherever they picked that particular year. My last 3 trips were to Myrtle Beach. So the question that asked, were these caregivers certified? Those caregivers was as certified as those that were in the school teaching. I mean, let me not be presumptuous. Excuse me. I don't want to be presumptuous. Tyrone, you ever got certified to be a caregiver?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay. Shafan, you ever got certified to be a caregiver? Like CNA license or something like that?
And we had to take them classes with a certified.
Okay, Nicole Dingle said yes, they gave me what I asked for. Let me talk about this this deal here. Nicole Dingle, I don't believe, but I work for several others, and some is still paying 12. Oh, I got you. Okay, Miss Peaches, then got you. Nicole Dingle says yes, they gave me what I asked for. Okay, so my sister said she was certified as well. So okay, apparently the caregivers got certified. So I stand corrected. She says, yes, they gave me what I asked for. Okay, I think part of the reason for that is, Nicole Dingle, I'm almost sure the answer to this is no. Were you ever affiliated with the ministry in a membership way? Were you a part of the ministry in regards to the church? Oh. Nicole Dingle was a part of the church and got what she. Oh, okay. Another question: did you join the church after 2010 or anywhere up in there? We got certified to do CPR and that was it. Oh, she said no. Oh, she said H no. Okay, got you. So you were not a member of the church and you were not a member of the church and you got what you asked for. But you have 2 people who were members of the church and they got shortchanged and cheated and played. I'm trying to establish that we're not just calling this place a cult because of the fact that I had a bad day. I didn't just wake up and say, A, B, C. Oh, C begins with cult. No. We are taking... I tell you what, the educator in me wants to take a textbook definition of cult and just see if it meets all of the criteria, but I ain't even going to do that. I'm not going to go through that tonight. C starts with cult. Let me just pick that word to use.
But nah, that thing used to like get out of hand with that home health care because after one of the Langhorns, I don't know if everybody knows them, but once old boy got a stroke or whatever, it's almost like he didn't even matter anymore. The same person that used to get all them grants and everything, and I mean, his mind was just one of the most phenomenal that I've ever even came across. Dude had education on top of education, but after he got the stroke or whatever, and they started the home
Say what
care,
now?
Tell me why they used to
Go on TikTok. Okay, what's your name on TikTok? Because I don't know how oh my Lord, you got to know your name on TikTok so I can add you. I don't want to add the wrong person. Hold on, y'all. This our other guest having technical difficulties. Well, not technical difficulties. He don't know his username on TikTok. She said, Miss Peaches Dingle said, I sure wouldn't have been working for no $7.50 or $8. Okay, I teach high schoolers, and one of the things I do is I teach them the advantage of knowing their worth. And so I have them take what minimum wage is and multiply that by 40 hours a week. If my math serves me right, my degree is in history, so my math might be off. $7.50. Let's go $8. That's an easier number to deal with. $8 at 40 hours a week is $320. No, thank you. My bills will laugh at that.
But no, I'm gonna finish.
Hey, I tell you what.
Just
Hey,
that.
just say something on TikTok so I'll see your username. Just comment and I'll see your username and go back and find where you first came in and add you. Huh? The what now? Oh, okay. Well, you go ahead and do that. We'll be here when you get here. Text me when you get on. All right, let me know when you're ready, all right? Oh, here's a good question. Do y'all have fellow churches in South Carolina that have meetups with y'all? I didn't know what fellowship meant until I left Have Faith. Okay, let me not speak for the group. Tyrone, how often did y'all visit other churches in South Carolina?
Under the false pretense that we actually were a church, there was a church in Charleston that they associated with.
Someone said specifically, oh yeah, sir, Junior Earl Ray, I think the answer to that is yes. Is this church in St. Stephen, South Carolina?
There's one in St. Stephen.
Okay,
Yes.
we're not going to call the name of that organization, but the answer to that is yes. They were loosely affiliated with a particular organization. Someone asked, will my mom speak out now? We are not going to put her through that trauma right now. She can't do that right now. And now, this is not a situation of me being him. My mother is 3 days into a new life. And it would be exploitation to have her to come on here. I'm not saying it won't happen ever, but I will say not right now. You on TikTok? What's your username? I think my sister is in a cult church. Sir, let's send me a message and let's talk offline. Because what I think I'm going to do, you keep working and I'm talking to someone on the line. Huh? You said what now? Okay, I don't see that on here nowhere in the people that came on. You on TikTok looking at us right now? You gotta put in my page and go to it, DJ Long 971. Can you go get your grandma? No, I cannot, because at this point I've been trespassed from the property. And my mom's mental state is low. We are checking in on her and visiting often. I was trying not to say it like that, but yeah, there you go. When you first come out, my TikTok is DJ Long 971. When you first come out, those first few days are hell, not because of the fact that you're still there, but because you're trying to figure out, what do I do now? I'm used to getting up at the crack of dawn and staying up till dusk and working all day and trying. What? Your routine is disrupted. So you heard Tyrone say last night that he drove all the way to the state of Washington. I came out 2 days before Christmas, December 23rd. I'll talk about this while our other brother is getting himself together so he can join us on TikTok. I remember I left 1 o'clock in the morning. I woke up around 6 or 7. No, I'm playing. I woke up about 6 or 7. and I had all kind of missed calls. That's the first thing that's gonna happen. It becomes real to you once you start that phone start ringing,
Mm-hmm.
and the anxiety that you feel when that phone starts ringing, and you know you're not gonna answer it, but that feels like a mortal sin because you don't ignore calls.
That part.
So I just happened to be asleep, and so the first person I called that I had a missed call from was my great grandmother, who was, does your mom own a home? No, she does not own a home. She was living in Florence. So I called her back. She said, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Hey, Grandma." I said, "How are you?" And this is my great grandmother, Sadie Jones. She said, "I'm all right, but they're talking about you lost and they don't know where you are." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm not lost." I said, I left the church, the place where we were." Um, we'll talk about my mom and housing in a minute. Kiana, remind me to talk about that. So she said, "Yeah, Ronnie said that you're not there and they can't figure out where you are." And she said, Grandma said, she said, "What y'all did? Left the boy in Washington?" He didn't get on the bus. And so, um, oh Lord. Since my mama died, she married this fool from St. Stephen's. The communication never been the same. But the people at the church where they attend is weird. So I don't mean no harm, but I'm gonna go on and say weird vibes is always the first indication that something is off. My experience. Most of these places where we go and you walk in and things just don't seem normal. That I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna say this and take it with a grain of salt. Take the meat, throw away the bone if you want to. Weird vibes is typically the first indication that a church should not. And I'm coming back to what I was saying about my grandma and me and the first day out. A church should not have you feeling weird and uncomfortable the minute you walk in the door. That's just not what the church is. But she's brainwashed, so there's nothing I can do. Yep, it's a cult. That's strike 1 and 2. We don't even got to get to 3. It's a cult. All right. So I remember, and I hate that for you because God knows I know how you feel. I'm talking 16 years of knowing how you feel. So when I told her that I was no longer in the place and I told her where I was, she said, "All right, I'm gonna come and see you because I need to make sure you're good." And so I call her now. Once it becomes clear that you have left, and in most cases, remember, nobody just walks up and says, "Hey, I'm leaving," and it was nice to see you, wouldn't want to be you, all that. You don't get to give no greetings and all of that. So when they realize that you have left and these phone calls start and you don't answer the phone, then you start getting text messages. And it's not, "Hey, how are you doing? Is everything all right?" and all of that stuff. You start getting stupid messages like, "Don't forget the bridge that brought you over."
Yeah.
You get text messages. I got text messages. Now, for the most part, I've forgotten a lot of the numbers. There are 2 people's numbers there that I will never forget. The chief apostle and whatever they calling him himself, I will never forget that number.
Well, I ain't gonna call out the number, but
I won't tell his number but I got in a little bit of trouble for posting a phone number already. You on TikTok? Okay. What? And you say your name is what now? And you on TikTok? Okay, let me go find. Do a comment or something so that I don't gotta roll through all these things. Do it. If you.
I doubt he's gonna change his number, Shante. That's been the same number since I know him. And I'll be 31.
Huh? Now, I posted my grandmother's number because of the fact that I needed to establish a point. We ain't giving out nobody else's number. The other thing I would say is I got word that they were all at the police department this morning. My response was, I hope they like what they seen. So, let's see. If you go ABCS 1, 2, No, that ain't you. You say your name is same as what it is on Facebook. All right. Glad my grandma got out of there. Yeah, I'm glad your grandma got out as well. I'm so glad your grandma got out. Blessed T Hands by Tanya. Hey, but I tell you what. Hey, you on the phone, so if we can't get you on TikTok, we can just go with you talking on the phone.
I'm trying to tell you the first time.
Oh, I ain't hear that. I ain't hear that at all. All right, so y'all, we gonna go to the phone because our brother here is a little techno. His tech savvy skill. T Williams.
Who that is?
Never mind. I thought that was him in the comments, but that's not him.
Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear. I got the phone where you know, hopefully everyone will be able to hear it. Hey, you're gonna have to talk up so they can hear you though.
Well, I mean, they can't get with it. They just have to get with the program. But anyway, I'm T. I used to, well, I ain't used to be part of the coach, but I used to be with the people. So, I mean, right, wrong is wrong. We always been doing some things, and I ain't gonna say that a lot to you. They make it look good, but behind closed door, you never know what's going behind closed door.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
And how long were you hanging around? So this is for the sake of those who didn't hear. This is my his name. You want them to have your real name?
Yeah, that's Montez.
This Montez, he was around. He was one of the children. He's not born in, but he was around for a little while. What you was around?
Montez, like tall Montez?
Yeah, this tall Montez.
Yeah, what's good? I haven't seen that in a minute.
He said, Montez is a little rowdy. Go ahead, Montez. He ain't hear you.
What's going on?
Yeah, he was around for about 2 or 3 years. We was actually in the same house for a little while, and didn't even want us to cook noodles in the house. I forgot that we were not allowed to cook in the house. I forgot that we were not allowed to cook in the house. Man, you barely could. How about, do you remember when the thermostat was set at a certain temperature and it was winter and it was like 60, the thermostat was set at like 62 degrees and we talked about it being cold and it's like, get a blanket. So he said they're bullies. Is the church multicultural? The church in New York is a little multicultural. The one in South Carolina, no, it ain't multicultural. It's unicultural. The unicultural, his culture. That's it.
Oh, that ain't no church.
And yeah, we were not allowed to cook in any of the houses. Back when they first built them, they were showing tours and all of that. So I seen people cooking their dinner at that time was the school. Now, understand this. I heard people were paying $700 a month rent for one room in the house.
That's true.
$700 a month rent for one room. And you tell me I'm paying $700 and I can't cook a bowl of noodles? The other thing is, Montez, so I talked to them about the house in which we live. Let me ask you this. Could you go in and out like you wanted to?
Oh, no, we got the alarm set on that.
Okay, so if y'all did y'all hear what he just said? Because I don't want to be sounding like I'm interpreting no one words for him. Did you hear what he just said?
Oh yeah, I heard him.
No, you ain't got no free will.
So we talked last night about the fact that there were alarms on the house. Cause see, the thing of it is, as these people are coming out and wanting to talk and whatnot, I need us to see the similarities because a narcissistic mentality will take everything that is said and try and twist it like what we heard we didn't just hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, boy, hey, I done been through the mud with him, done fight him. Shit, hey, I done been through the I'm cut from a different cloth, but when they say coke, and I look at Tyler Perry, oh, that shit real. I'm telling you. And I thought about that. I said, Lord, you know what, bro? That's the truth.
Now, talk to us about your experience as a student in the school.
Yeah, I barely went to school, but
When you were at the academy, Mother Geneva Johnson Academy.
I mean, it was a different experience. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, it was a different experience, but it was a. Let me see what kind of word I can use for this year. It was an unauthorized experience.
It was an unauthorized experience.
It's a controlling thing.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like if you don't do what they say, or you just, if it don't go that way, it just ain't gonna work. But, you know, it was some of, like I say, you know, they such as yourself, Devon. You know, some of us that, you know, noticed the bullshit, and, you know, some of us that got swallowed by it.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. It's all just a gimmick to me. I mean, it don't make me a that. It's a gimmick to me.
Montez, just for the sake of the folk that are listening, have you ever had a physical altercation, or has it ever gotten physical for you as someone who was not born into this, but was a part of it for a period of time?
Yeah. I had to go to the office one time, and what they call them, Pastor Johnson, Elder Johnson, whatever. He tell me to go stand in the corner. So I said, boy, I ain't coming to stand in the corner. I come to go to school. So he take it upon himself to try to put his hands on me. That's when I got in a physical altercation with almost all of them. And they said they called the police and all.
Yep, I was about to say it. And so I wanted to make sure that he told that from his perspective. Now, I remember that day when he said that's why he went back to Man High. I remember the day that they had this altercation when him and Dwayne Johnson Sr. got physical. And the thing I will say is that someone said, yeah, call the police. And I want to think that it was Tyrone Brusford Sr., but I'm not sure about that. I want to think it was him that said, call the police. But then Dwayne Johnson said, no, we don't got to call no police. I got this. I'll handle this.
That's what we said, that we went in the office.
And let me ask you, if you remember, after y'all came out the office, do you remember what part of your redemption deal was? What did you have to do after y'all talked?
I tell him, he said, well, it's all right, Dad. You don't have to go to my school no more. I said, well, listen. And I said, well, listen. That's it with me and you are.
Do you remember? Let me ask you this. Do you remember writing a letter?
Yeah.
That's what I was after. What was the letter about? What did they tell you to write?
I wanted to leave, and I would, how did they say I wasn't comfortable there? Some shit, I can't remember. How many years ago that?
So, the idea is that he expressed that he wanted to leave. He didn't want to be at the school no more. And they want him to write a letter about what it is that made him want to leave and why wasn't he comfortable. Who want to write that on a letter? I done told you I'm not feeling this. But the mindset is just, and the ideology is, whatever I think is the best way to handle a thing. That's me. Now I can tell you what, I can assure you that they wasn't gonna have no police come on that property.
By that time, who think about a police?
Okay. Please, I believe some of us want the police to come. Please let the police come. Maybe today might be the day. Now, I pinned this comment from Reese Watkins. Says, sad, my little cousin is brainwashed. She's still present and down there. And for the sake of, if you're comfortable, well, no, I don't want to. I don't want to put anyone in an uncomfortable position. How? So we have a name there, Sharice. Do you care to elaborate any on this relationship and how she got to be there? Reese, I'm talking to someone on the Facebook live stream. Did they take you out of doctor's appointments? For the most part, if you could drive, you took yourself. But if not, yeah, someone took you. Or if you were one of the ones that needed somebody with you, they would accompany you to doctor's appointments. But for the most part, the elderly, yeah, but the young people, the younger folks, they took themselves to the doctor or what have you. So, in regards to this whole deal with this young, individual that's there, that's brainwashed and all of that, I think well, what I got to lose. I'm gonna respect the family because I don't want to be overbearing and telling anyone else's story, and if I don't want to talk about other people's stuff. But oh well, here we go. She said yes, her and my grandmother went there and was promised all these things, which is his aunt. My aunt died. So there we have it. I just wanted someone from the family to establish a connection before I say what I had to say about it. So this construct here with the young lady that's still there is some of his own family. And we talked about the other day where I told DSS that when I left there from getting my mother, I would be trespassed off of the property. The reason I knew that was going to happen was because this young lady, Sharice, came down with her grandmother, who is Dwayne Johnson Sr.'s aunt. This is Bishop R.P. Johnson's sister. And one of the first thing he did for a little while, I think they stayed together, but then eventually he moved Sharice into his house and had Aunt Dot, Mother Greer, in another house, specifically with my grandmother. And when things got a little crazy, Aunt Dot wound up getting out of there. Some others from the family came down to get Sharice. And correct me when I go wrong, I'm almost sure that what was told to me is that those family members were trespassed off of the property because they came down in the room. The wording he said was they came and disrupted an educational setting. I believe that's what I was told. Someone from the family. Go ahead.
The first time they tried to get her, yeah, and the second time they actually tried to go to USC to get Sharice instead of being on the property.
I didn't even know there was a second time. Goodness gracious. Now, this is his own family that he trespassed off the property because they defied him. Because nobody gets the right to say we don't like what you're doing. The reason why we're going so hard with this is because of the fact that I really believe that this just gotta end. It's not, and okay, so I was cloudy on that, but I wanted someone from the family to clear it up. The girl's mama came down to get her, which is his cousin, and he trespassed him off of the property. Now, I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no harm at all. But it's rich for you to be trespassing people off property that you barely can hold on to yourself. Pretty. Never mind. I won't say that. I won't say that. One of the individuals, I'll go here. One of the individuals that posted something fool on, I said this the other night, I believe. One of the individuals that posted something fool on one of the posts said, yeah, he's just doing this because he needs attention, because if you have all of these accusations, why not go to local law enforcement? I thought that was quite foolish of that individual, which is his cousin, to put that on there. And they bought a house in his name, and then the house went in foreclosure and was taken. Have you been able to contact your grandmother yet? No. The number has changed, and even other family members have not been able to get in touch with her. But we're handling that. We're handling that. Are the properties in his name? Nothing's in his name. Nothing's in his name. See, the funny thing about these kinds of, and let me go ahead and say it, because I know that I can't quite see everybody that's on TikTok, but I know TikTok does show you who viewed your profile. And I seen Kitty's Bounce House viewing my profile, and I seen others that were viewing my profile. If you're on, I told you watch at your own risk, so let me go ahead and do it. I have a whole file of how many times properties changed names, and someone paid $5 to change a property over to a new name. But the interesting thing is, out of all of the properties that are owned, and all of the properties that we call mine, this is mine, and me and mine. Interestingly enough, that individual's name ain't on very much at all. Because what we tend to do is we tend to set other people up for the fall, and or use other people's name to get mortgages in order to get more money. Sounds like racketeering to me, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not a legal expert. Nobody would trespass him. They ain't nobody gonna trespass him. They scared to say, well, they need to trespass him. Ain't nobody gonna trespass him. They scared to death of that man. Houses in their names, and they won't trespass him. We should have trespassed him when he was standing up outside our kitchen window, looking in the house, come in the house and be able to tell us everything we talked about in the past 15 minutes. That was back before the Alclu days. That was back when we lived over in Davis Station. Once you're able to get your grandma, how would y'all be able to revoke their access to the bank account? Close them. Close them. And so at this point, and that's what they're guarding. So, and probably might clean her account out once she leaves. Okay, so let me say this about that. Do it. Because if we can establish, let's go, when the day I left was December 23rd, 2009. If you had went and did something in the account before I could get to the bank to close it, and I know that I left December 23rd, 2009, I'm going to go after you with everything I got, because why would you be messing in the account and you know I'm no longer there? Now, if you want me to be quiet, transparent, you can do whatever you want to do with the account before they leave. Once this is over, one thing you can't alter is the documents at Bank of America or Wells Fargo. Them financial institutions have the records. And so this is just a matter of continuing to make people aware, and a matter of playing the waiting game until the hammer falls. I don't know the number, but after so many followers, it won't show who views your post. That's, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, the other thing they do is they'll go watch on the Facebook whenever it's not live anymore, which if you're not live in the app, it don't tell you who all come on anyway. I don't care. They watch at their own risk. Because at the end of the day, I don't mind you watching because I'm not on here lying. Nobody's lying. Nobody's making anything up. And so for all of the ones that saying go in there and just go get your grandma, well, the first thing is, now you can't, when you're dealing with people like this, okay, let me give you Bible. Let's go scripture. The Bible said, "Be wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove." That means you think like a snake, but you don't become one. So they got a big old camera there. I can't be seen on camera snatching grandma out the house, because then they have grounds to say we kidnapped her. So our hands are tied because of the fact. Yeah, and at this point I've been trespassed, So at this point, our hands are tied in regards to grandma's too scared to walk out on her own, and you can't be seen forcing her out. So remember the other day the question was asked, what do you want a financial audit? That'll solve all of these problems. A financial audit. And I'm not quiet about it. I ain't trying to hide it. I will scream it from the rooftops. A financial audit will solve all of these problems. When I went to church and I had to leave for an emergency, he made individuals contact me to bring me back. He said that I was, hold on a minute. He said that I was the devil and I needed to hear what he had to say, because he was my God. Lord have mercy. Now, the other thing I can tell you along those lines that he said to me, we had a conversation October 31st, 2021. We were on the side of the lighthouse where they don't have service, just me and him. And we talking, and he began to ask me why was I always upset when I come around, and I mean that's a subjective term, because for 10 years I ain't really go over there like that after I left. And I said, I told him my biggest issue was the beatings. I think I told him. The thing he looked me in my face and said was, see, the devil put a lot of things in your mind to keep you walking in unforgiveness. You not about to gaslight me like that.
I would have been, you must be talking about yourself, because you acting like the devil, putting all of this in my mind for me not to forgive you.
And Shantae made a good point in regards to that piece about, kidnapping people and all of that. Even though we can't do it to her, you can't pull her out the house. Essentially, keeping her there is the same thing in regards to, and the idea is, this is what makes this thing so convoluted. He knows that we cannot technically, legally accuse him of anything wrong based on the fact that she won't say, I don't want to be here in front of him or to him. But I can say, I know for an uncontrovertible, irrefutable fact that she said to me, something's got to change, and I don't like it here.
She told me before I left that she didn't want to be there.
There you have it. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every word be established. This whole thing has always been about my grandmother. So this thing keeps coming up about, y'all are going crazy viral. You might get paid. Let me say, disclaimer, this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thank you. Let me say this. My Facebook page is not even monetized. This is not about money for me. This has nothing. He wants you to forgive him so you can keep your mouth shut. That's absolutely what it is. This is not about money. This is about 16 years of trying to get everyone to know something crazy going down on Sumter Highway in Alkaloo, South Carolina. From that yellow building with the 2 stories to that yellow building that's set back in the woods and everything in between. Something crazy going on down there. And the idea is they come up with all these convoluted stories, no matter how many convoluted stories of their own that they have. They'll try to get over on anybody that they can get a 2-minute audience with, and then want to call anyone else that won't go along with them a get over or a cheat or a con. I mean, I guess maybe it's so easy for you to call someone those things because that's what you are and that's what you do. For instance, this meeting that I talked about on October 31st, he says at the end of the meeting, "Oh, your phone didn't ring the whole time," and I didn't. It didn't even make sense. What do my phone got to do with us talking? And then it clicked to me. This fool thought I was recording him. I would never do that. That first of all, in South Carolina, you can't even record people without telling them. Although I'm sure he was recording, but there's a verse that I really love. The Bible says, "To the pure, all things are pure, but to him that is defiled, nothing is pure, because he unclean in his own heart." So you only see in others what's in you. Wasn't that White House on the corner an Airbnb? I understand it is an Airbnb.
And I wonder how they turned that to an Airbnb. Like, what family did they move out of there? Because, yeah, your mom was in there, you know, and, you know, they sent mom, well, you know, the cancer patient had passed, so she's over there, but it was people living in there. So they must have moved them out to make that an Airbnb.
So I think part of what happened is they remember where the house where my grandmother was, there was a trailer there. They moved that out and then built that big house, and it seemed like everybody just moved from that house to the house where we got my mother from on Saturday. And so I don't know when it became an Airbnb, but yeah, now they running it as an Airbnb. They couldn't afford meat because the single families can't give up their food stamps. Hold on a minute. What did I miss? I'm still mad about us going to the graduation. They had a grill going to waste by just grilling corn. Now, you know what? That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Oh, my Lord. If you got a grill going, and I show up, first of all, let me say, I ain't saying that nobody poisoning no food or nothing. I'm not implying that at all, because you got to put these disclaimers out, because at this point, I told y'all, I got word that every one of them was at the police station this morning, so I don't know if they're trying to do a gag order or whatever, so let's make sure we cushion everything with, because now at the end of the day, I'm convinced they don't want to take us into no courtroom. But, and I'm all too happy to go. But, you know, let's just, now, with that being said, you don't got to worry about me going up to a grill, a food truck, a food trailer, a canteen, a concession, anything that got anything to do with anybody from Half A, you ain't got to worry about me eating and drinking nothing. And it ain't even about me worrying about being poisoned or nothing. I'm not, first of all, it probably ain't free. Let's start there. You're going to have to pay because you pay for everything. And I ain't giving my money to support not one initiative that they're having. All right.
I want to chime in right there where you said it probably ain't free. Mind you, after giving all of your money to them, especially for fundraisers, you still had to pay for the food after you done emptied out your whole wallet to even buy everything for the fundraiser.
Someone here on TikTok, I don't know who this is, says, I can remember one time he got into it with my uncle, D. Lawson, who is a pastor, about the young lady. Okay. I don't know who you are, and I is it? We talking about the same young lady? Oh, about the same young lady his son was engaged to. Who I'm? Oh, got you. Okay, got you. Yeah, it makes sense now. It makes sense. Yep, it makes sense. All right. Simone, you said you'll go. I'm assuming you're talking about go to court. I don't think we'll have I don't think at this point we'll have trouble finding people who could go to court. I don't think so. And that's.
If I'm all the way on the West Coast, I would drive all the way to
and now that's what's so sad, because even in the midst of all of this, another young man had to go. So y'all seen the videos where other people are now going live with their stories, and I look, do it, because the idea is that one of them was misrepresented. Faith Johnson posted this 3-year-old video of him talking at some event, and he and his wife had to come on and clear up. No, first of all, that video is old, but you don't use my image to sound like I'm supporting all of this craziness. Because, but how you gonna go find a video from 3 years ago and then put the caption on it? Amazing how good can turn into bad in 17 years. Well, I'm sorry. I just have a contribution to the conversation. Sweetie, good didn't turn into bad. Good just wasn't very much in the equation in the first place. Here's my words to those to whom are still acting like you don't see what this is. Get your head out of the clouds. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system. You have been conned. Everybody coming out with their own stuff. And I'm going to go on and say this. Now, you can send as many letters addressed to me or whatever. At the end of the day, at this point, I don't even understand how you justified in saying anything to me exclusively when we got about 20 other people who have come out and said, I seen, I saw, or I experienced. Yes, everything is taken down off that page that was posted yesterday. This is exactly why I posted that letter with them handcuffs and myself reading the Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Please use it. Not because we don't think what you got to say matters. It's because everything you say is not helping you. Oh, someone said it's still there. I heard it was taken down, but if it's still there, it's still there. Whatever.
The one with the young man that they found the video 3 years ago, she took that down. You can go on her page right now.
Yeah. Someone is saying the 3-year video. I can't see it because I'm blocked.
Now the letter that she put towards you is still up there, but the video of the other guy is down.
Someone said the letter is definitely gone too. Good, the anointing of a screenshot. I love a good screenshot. And let's talk about the letter. I ain't going through it all again. But first of all, listen, y'all be tripping me out the way y'all be doing y'all homework. Because somebody went and found, I didn't want to be the one to disclose that they were best friends. I didn't want to be the one to disclose that. Because, Now, I need to say this. Did anything in that letter say anything about I'm lying?
Nope.
I have flung every single thing that I know that these people have done, and not one time, not one person has come out and said, now, okay, we got one person that did say, and I think that they exchanged what they originally put for this little Chat GPT. We're going to call it the Chat GPT letter. We'll call it that. I like that name. I like that. Thank you, Simone. You got one person who said, I'm lying, and they changed their letter, changed their first post to a Chat GPT letter. Then, that was Sylvia Alexander. Then the cousin came and said, you have all this information. Why didn't you go to local law enforcement? You're painting a false narrative. I don't even know why I'm feeding into this foolishness. I don't know why either, but since you decided to, okay, cool. So that's two. And then you have... Huh?
Was that on the same post?
That was on the post where the lighthouse was behind me. James Johnson. James Johnson said, it's false narrative and I'm doing this for attention. That's what he said. And it ain't even slander or defamation because I'm quoting exactly what y'all said. So cool, let's do it. Then you have Tanya McNair who said, I'm not walking in my truth. And I said the other night, I will open my platform for you to come on and bring what you feel my truth is. You're welcome. We ain't discriminating around here. Anybody from Have Faith who want to come and join us, you are more than welcome. You want me to make a flyer to say it? I'm not going to mail you nothing because you ain't getting my address. So that's three people, and then we can almost assume that Sister Faith wants to imply that I'm lying. So 4 people. Now, I can assure you that although Have Faith numbers ain't as big as they used to be, I can tell you it's more than 4 people in that organization. Where the rest of them at that's saying I'm lying? Where the rest of them? And then, when they got ready to try and fix their little image, you done been called a thief, a crook, you done been called an abuser, we done called you everything but a child of God because that's what you doing to people. And the first statement that you come out with publicly, oh, we've only shown love and we've only shown support and I went with your grandma to England and, man, miss me with that. Do they use kids and adults to be security? I won't say they use kids to be security. It was one person who was security, and that's Tyrone Brailsford Sr. I saw 2 black cars sitting in the field today by the bounce houses. Hey, I like a black SUV. You should be grateful for the trip. Man, you could have kept them. Someone, our Keith on his live called them W2 trips.
I saw that.
You could have kept them trips. You don't get to use a trip to excuse the stuff that all of these people are talking about. And, let me talk about this. Because we act like them trips was the most amazing thing ever. Let me tell you, trips didn't stop beatings. Trips, let me say it again for the people in the back. Trips did not stop beatings. I can distinctly remember in the vacation home in Florida, me and Jared was I wouldn't say we were arguing, but we was fussing back and forth or whatever. And I said to him, yeah, well, at the end of the day, you can kiss the bottom of my foot. I did not hear someone, Jared's grandmother had said, Mother Bell, she's no longer with us. She had said, hey, y'all need to cut it out. I didn't hear her say that. I did not hear her say that. And it just so happened that I was already saying you can kiss the bottom of my foot at the time that just happened to be right after she said, y'all need to cut it out. So she interpreted that as I was saying to her, kiss the bottom of my foot. Nobody in Alkaloo, South Carolina would ever do that. Ain't nobody that brave.
Didn't she lie though?
Huh?
Didn't she lie and say that you said that to kiss her? I mean, for you to kiss, for her to kiss your bond or whatever when you got in trouble.
So it was something crazy like that. Because what I said was, I said kiss the bottom of my foot, and yeah, I do remember that part. Now, when Ella Johnson got wind of that same bedroom that we talked about yesterday, where we were punished one time, we was on vacation a whole week, and all the boys in there in this big room with Tyrone's father reading the scripture, and Tyrone was up there clipping his daddy's toenails and all kind of crazy stuff the whole week. Now, that same room, we went in there, Ella Johnson took the iron off the shelf, held the iron in his hand, got the cord, he held the plug up near the iron and swung the cord, and that's what he beat my tail with. And we was on a good trip. Don't talk to me about no trip.
But according to them, ain't none of this ever happened.
Ain't none of it. Now we can give these intimate details. I took the time of telling you what room. I can't quite tell you what I was wearing. I don't remember. But took the time of telling you who all was involved. What I'm just sitting here during the day writing out. Right? If I'm writing this good, then Tyler Perry don't need a job no more. Give me the script. I'll write Ruthless if I'm that good.
Like, for real. This is great.
No, at some point, the madness just gotta stop. You don't get to just keep doing awful stuff. Did you get it the worst? Were other people treated like this? We talked about this last night. I try not to compare because what's bad. Well, now, okay, so all of this is just why I don't attend church. Miss Peaches Dangle, please, if I don't attend to that, hit a period or something on it so that I can come back to that. I don't like to say who had it worse or better. Now, I think we all kind of was in agreement last night after Tyrone talked. He just had it bad. That he started off talking about being handcuffed to the chair, duct tape legs, duct tape mouth, duct tape eyes, and being beat for 4 hours. That's pretty bad. I don't think I get to say I had it the worst when he told that story last night and gave this experience. But I think for all of us, we have that one incident that we will just not ever forget, where it was just complete overkill. For me, Billie Jean, it was when I wrote the suicide letter. That's the one beating that I will never forget. You'll have to go and watch the live from last night for that. Tyrone is on again tonight, and we had another guest on, but he gave his account of the duct tape and all of that last night. But yes, duct tape. And it's really at the beginning, so you don't even got to sit through the whole 4 hours. Oh, excuse me. TikTok flags certain words on a live letter. Or spell out, oh Lord, I forgot TikTok is sensitive. All right, so let's tread carefully. I ain't got a warning. I got a violation last night, so let's be careful. All right, so yeah, the problem is you have all of these awful stories that people are telling. And then you have people who ain't even entered the conversation yet, who may not enter the conversation because they still trying to process trauma. Kelly, I remember you being around. Praying for you and your family. If I knew this was going on, I would have done something about it. Your family would not have been privy to this kind of stuff because of who your grandparents were. They would have tried to keep, although your grandmother did become aware of some things, and that's why her disposition towards the church changed, but they tend to try and keep.
Kelly, is that?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me pin this. From Tanika Alexander. Please forgive my mother just like your family, she believes. I'm the oldest daughter of Sylvia Alexander. She's a very kind person. My mom has known Auntie Faith since I was a child. Unfortunately, I do not know the side of Auntie Faith that you speak of. Now, let me say this about Sister Faith. I never had a bad story about her. And even now, these things that are happening, that's why I don't understand. The people like the thing, even I said to someone else about your mom, I didn't realize your mom felt the way she felt because your mom was good to me even when they told her not to be. Your mom used to sneak money to me after Ella Johnson told her not to. I didn't realize that there was an issue until the last time I blew the whistle and a comment was made. But even Sister Faith, I don't agree with how loyal she is to her brother. I don't agree with this blind walking into everything just because he said it. But if we had to rank people who were there according from worst to best, I can tell you right now, I would not put Sister Faith at the top of the list if worst is at the top. I would not have done that. Now, she getting on my nerve with this disposition. Now, I got annoyed with her 3 years ago when I blew the whistle, and I'll produce these screenshots because I do have them. 3 years ago, I was talking with my grandmother Good, and we were having good conversation and all of that, and Ella Johnson realized I was not going to sign my house and church over to him, and he got mad and told him, quit talking to me. And in the midst of that, there was this whole hashtag church hurt movement that has been going on. And I just want to say, I will always defend the church in its purest form. Not this crap that we talking about tonight that people do, and these crazy people that exploit people to live large and to have a good life. Not that stuff. But the Church of the Lord Jesus Christ, not talking about any denomination. I'm talking about the Bible described church. I will always defend that because I don't believe God had all of this in mind. I think people just get crazy. Immature people that are given power are fools in the making. That's what I'll say about that. But when I said, so I posted a 3-paragraph thing, and I didn't even mention have faith. I just said one thing. I said, I understand church hurt just as much as many of you are because of my own background. Something along those lines verbatim. It was one sentence in a 3-paragraph thing about church hurt. The rest of it mostly dealt with what I learned about the church as being a pastor. Because church hurt is on the other side of the pulpit as much as church hurt is in the pulpit as much as it's in the pew. I can assure you. Those of us who doing it right. Those of us who ain't exploiting people and all of that. But I won't get into that. That's not what we're here for. When I said that, we had this whole thing of Sister Faith started posting these photos of my mother and grandmother. And I mean just back to back. And I got the screenshot because I was commenting on them. Like, no, don't try to bait. So from there, I got blocked by her. And I got blocked by everyone from Have Faith who had just recently re-added me because I had been blocked for years prior to that. Because when you leave, you excommunicated and you the devil until Elder Johnson gives you the words of redemption. So I didn't even I've never had a complaint, a problem. I've never said anything. Even, let's go all the way back. I worked at Walmart in 2013. I meant to mention this last night. I'm glad that this came back up. Sister Faith was at Walmart on Walmart on Beltline here in Florence, over in Florence. And I was working, getting carts or something. Her, Mother Greer, and another lady named Joanne was in. And the only reason I'm calling names now is because this is not a horror story per se. They were in the van, and they were driving, for the sake of detail, so we know I'm not making it up. They were driving the gold Honda Odyssey, and so she hit the horn and spoke or whatever. And I went and spoke, and she said she asked something along the lines of, "Do you have time to talk?" And I said, "Well, I can talk for a little while." And I got in the van, and we got to talking. And so she asked the question. Something about Dwayne Johnson. I said, when it comes to that man, I just don't got nothing good to say. And she said, that man, how can you refer to him as that man after everything that he did for you? You don't get to mix up what you did for me with what you did to me. Please get your, I think those are adverbs. I'm not sure. My English is a little faulty. I think those are adverbs. I'm not sure though. Get them straight. You don't get to say we did all this for you, and so pay attention to this and ignore what was done to you. And the fact of the matter is, they don't feel that way. They don't operate in that capacity themselves. Because one of their big gripes with growing up in their father's house was they felt that Bishop was overbearing. Faith Johnson tells a story of Bishop putting an axe through a TV because back then it was considered the devil's workshop. How many of y'all heard her tell that story?
I remember that story.
You didn't like getting an axe put to a TV. How do you think Jared felt about having an axe put to his behind? Oh, I'm sorry, that's just too much of a comparison. It's reality. This is what was going on. So if you don't like it, go talk to your brother. Don't keep telling, because what she said was, well, why do you feel the way that you feel? Now, they don't like for the truth to come out around people that they trying to draw in. And Sister Joanne was one of those that they were trying to draw in. And so I said something about the beatings. And she said, the beatings. She said, well, I think you need to talk to Ella Briefing and Ella Johnson. I said, I'm not talking to anybody about anything. And so she said, I really think you need to change your disposition. And she began to get very defensive. And Sister Joanne said, and I quote, this is why I called her name, because I will always give this woman respect for this. She said, Faye, can't you see that he's not talking from a place of contempt? The boy is hurt. I'm sick of these people that got so much Holy Ghost that you can see lotto numbers and you can see who cheating and who doing this and who doing that, and you can see who trying to get over on you, but you can't see the heart of people that's being sincere right in your face. You don't even need the Holy Ghost to see when somebody is just expressing a sentiment. You not Stevie Wonder. You ain't blind. You got eyes.
They choose not to see. That's what it is.
Okay. So unfortunately, I do not know the side of Auntie Faye that you speak of. As far as the rest of them, I believe everything he said. I never cared for that man. He always seemed off and disrespectful. Yeah, he definitely disrespectful. He was disrespectful to my dad. He's disrespectful to any strong man. He cannot stand a strong man. Also, my mom lost also, but she is very loyal. Once again, I'm unsure what Auntie Faith has to do with this. She posted a letter, and she's, on her blind loyalty stuff. She has always been kind to me, but to be clear, my mother has nothing to do with any of this. She always looks out for everyone. I do agree. I can't take that away. She is a kind soul. I'm not saying this because she is my mother, but it is the truth. I will stand 100% behind. I believe, as a pastor, will you ever forgive them? Okay, let me pin this. And yeah, let's talk about forgiveness. She sounds very lost.
I got a slide because I'm on the road in a few hours, but I just want to make this very quick. And please say no disrespect to this, Miss Alexander's daughter. Even though your mom was not a part of this and she didn't do nothing like whatever we experienced, it's just the fact that she also has a little bit of what Miss Faith has, which is that blind loyalty. You gotta know the whole story before you start posting stuff. And she doesn't know the whole story.
Right.
So she kind of put herself in this. Again, no disrespect, because she never did anything to me at all.
I didn't even know the woman had a problem. Excuse me. I didn't know there was an issue. She never did anything to me. I have never had. She was actually a part of. So someone said yesterday, can we talk about good memories? She was actually a part of my good memories up until 3 years ago. And then certainly up until the other day. So now, I'm not saying that woman abused nobody. I'm not saying she knew about abuse. I'm not saying any of that. Because one thing I'm not going to do is get up here and paint a bad picture for everybody. I've seen, the other thing I would say is people's experience with people are different. Because I've seen some people calling names for people that they call sweet. And I'm like, shoot, I'm going to just be quiet. Last night, some people got to talking about, I don't remember who it was, but they called a name and said that person was kind. I don't remember who it was. I got quiet because I have a different experience. Just like I don't want anyone telling me what my experience is, I won't. Notice that when the young lady Ariel talked about what she dealt with in Old Open Door under Bishop Johnson, I had to walk back what I said about me feeling like Bishop Johnson was better. Because if he did what she said he did to her, he's just as wrong as his son doing what he's doing to us. Wrong is wrong, and we can't be so loyal to people that we can't see that wrong is wrong. Don't mean that the person, now, I'm going to say this, and I'm sorry. Dwayne Johnson Sr., his soul is broken, and I don't know what to say about him. The rest of them, I think there's an opportunity for redemption if they would get their heads out of the clouds. But in regards to Sylvia Alexander, I am not indicting her for any of the abuse. What I am indicting her for, and my problem, don't come and say I'm lying when you don't even, she was not even in Alcaloo on a day-to-day basis. And so that's so, and I'll say this, to this point, as a pastor, will you ever forgive them? I have worked, I won't tell you that I don't have resentment about my feelings, but I don't hold ill will. When I started this Saturday, this was not a Get Ella Johnson Gone campaign, even though he deserves to be gone, not because of the fact that I don't forgive him, but because of the fact that these are horrible things. So I'm not holding any, because living in prolonged unforgiveness, and I have two things I'll say about forgiveness. First of all, living in prolonged unforgiveness is like drinking poison, waiting on the other person to die. Excuse me, waiting on the other person to die. TikTok, sorry. You can't live a healthy life if unforgiveness is the subscribe. And bitterness and unforgiveness, when it sits in long enough, it becomes the basis for everything you do. It colors every decision you make. So I said earlier, I shouldn't have opened no church in 2012. I wasn't healed enough. I opened the church just to try and have something to do to make me feel like I was doing something. Okay. I don't know if anyone has asked this, but how's the other girl? I think her name was Ebony. We don't know. And I'm going to say this. People who are not on this live, because I've been gone for so long. Now, let me make this abundantly clear. I'm not saying this because any messages that may have been sent to me or not sent to me, you figure out whether or not I got your message. I don't care nothing about that stupidness, because people asking about you because they know you and hadn't seen you in years expresses friendship and concern. So, because now, well, shoot, let's do it. I received a message that said, don't refer to me, you don't represent who I am, because we ain't talking in over a decade. When, first of all, honey, because I seen you on here yesterday, first of all, nobody referred to you. Someone asked about you, and we just said, yada, yada, da, da, da. So the idea becomes that I can't answer questions about anyone else. I can only talk for the people that I'm in contact with. Man, yeah, always true. Tyrone, hold it in the road, man. Yeah. All right, here we go. And to what type of pastor would he be to know these things? Well, Misty, what are you talking about? Clarify that for me, please. What type of pastor would he? Because if we're talking about Dwayne Senior, he was doing these things, and they live in a perpetual state of denial. Three children can grow up in the same home and all have very different memories and treatments by the parents. Two things can be true at once. There can be situational kindness and also daily abuse. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's absolutely the case. But yeah, so that I'm gonna I told y'all I'm not doing no 4 hours tonight. Y'all are wonderful. But yeah. So you heard from Tyrone again a little bit. Then you heard from Montez, who was also a part of it. Jordan Bailey. I'm sorry. I was not trying to be rude to you. I'm sorry if that came off as short. And you have a right to ask about people that you made connections with. For some reason, these people just seem determined to make me the issue. And them and people asking about them and us saying, oh, you know, they're doing this or they're doing that based on what limited information we know apparently is a problem for some. And now I get it. There are some who are dealing with their own traumas. There are others who have employment things to worry about and don't want to be associated with this. And I'm cool on all of that. But don't come making me the problem. That's all that I say to them. But you don't have to apologize for a thing because you did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong. All right. So, y'all, I'm not doing 4 hours. I got me some turkey necks down by 8. I got off of here at 12:30. She might be asking that about people when you were a child. Times are different, but still not. Yeah. I got off here at 12, whatever, 11:30, whatever time it was last night, and realized that I had not eaten a thing all day, and I cooked me a pot of good turkey necks and some rice. And I think I'm about to enjoy that. Okay, now this is it for me. It's funny how they act funny when you mention it, but they post everything on Facebook exactly. But this is a situation of what's good for the goose is not good for the gander. We can do, but you do as we say and don't do as we do. And so, again, now, I will not be on tomorrow night. I have church. and so I'm not gonna be on tomorrow night. And since I didn't take my day of reprieve today, I'll take my day of reprieve Thursday. So, oh, mommy's living situation. Yeah, my mother was employed by Have Faith in their whatever, and so we're figuring things out as to how to get her settled and what in reality we are still trying to figure out what is next for our mother. And thank you, I forgot. Yeah. So we had to put her. We have a lot to factor in. Remember last night? Yeah, I'm going to definitely pray. Remember last night, Tyrone talked about not wanting anyone to come find him, so he drove cross country. Well, that is something to think about. We need to put her somewhere where we know they won't get her, won't be able to get to her. Say it like that. We need to put her somewhere where my mother doesn't drive. She has to have access to, some form of public transportation. Our Bible study virtual call over at 7. Can you come back afterwards? Well, we'll figure it out. And she doesn't have income, so we have to figure all of that out. But you got to have income to get a place to stay. You got to have money to get in a place once you find a place to stay. And so those are all things that are being worked out. We have her somewhere where she's good for now. And right now, our primary focus is making sure her mental is all right, making sure she's not overly anxious and all that. Because his words to them over the years was, "I don't love them and I abandon them and yada yada yada." No, I love my family. The reason I'm going hard like this is because of the fact that my grandmother should never be at a place where she's too afraid to make a decision for herself. Well, and now, let me say this. That is whether I like it or not. Had I felt that it was her sincere desire to stay in that situation and, whatever, I can't fight her decision. But I just don't feel, based on my experiences, that that's what she wants. And I also don't feel that anyone should have to be in a situation where they have to choose my church or my family. That's crazy. So we're figuring things out with regards to my mother and getting things in place to get her in a better place. And yeah. So we're gonna pray. And I was about to say we're gonna pray and I'm gonna dismiss you. We ain't in church. We're going to pray and we're going to go. I'm going to go eat turkey necks. Y'all can go catch up on your shows that you ain't been catching up on because you've been on here. But to those of you who've been hanging in since day one, y'all, and even, let me say every one of you, all of you are the real MVPs. For everyone who is hanging in, trying to figure out how to get justice, trying to figure out how to get awareness, doing what you can, sharing, liking. As a matter of fact, TikTok folks, double tap that screen one more time for whatever reason. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Praying for Sister R. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. My family, my sister. You see, my sister has been on here. Listen, I do not ever. Y'all can go and check my Bible studies. I don't spend no 3-4 hours sitting on no live stream. So you can tell this, and I didn't plan to get on tonight. I said that I was gonna chill and relax, but people wanting to tell their story is more important to me than my personal need to be on the other side. Oh, here's another one. My goodness gracious. Abraham McKnight. See, Old Open Door is coming out, and I love that. I love that. Sir, send me a message on Facebook, please. When I say Old Open Door, let me help y'all understand that I'm talking about Open Door that I remember from the early 90s. I knew Elder Johnson over 50 years and his son. This is a cult. My mother was under Johnson for years before she passed away. I can tell you some things about Elder Johnson. Over 50 years of information. Yep. Okay. So yeah. And now let me also say this, because my grandmother made this mistake of, I'm gonna pray and God gonna do it. Faith without works is dead. So the reason why I'm gonna pray, and I am praying and I've been praying, but I'm gonna do these lives too. And I'm gonna be calling everybody I can call. If you leave there, you leave with your clothes and have to start back over. Yeah, I bought a bag of clothes that wasn't even my size. So yeah, been here since the beginning. We can go protest. Yeah, yeah. So the other thing is, I'm going to start a page on Facebook to move all of this from my personal Facebook page for 2 or 3 reasons. It's not that it's not about hiding nothing, but because of the fact that I'm in ministry, people come looking for different things, and I would just want to move all of this to its own place. So in the next day or two, since we won't be going live, what we can work on is I'm going to create a page or a group on Facebook, and all of us that are causing these videos to go viral and all of that you're doing, keep that momentum, because it's affecting the algorithm. People who are not even friends, someone commented and said, I don't even know how I seen this, but I seen it. It involved the people in Alkalu who didn't know anything about. They still have hold on a minute. They still have my brother under them in Bellport, Long Island. Sir, please, don't put a whole lot of information on here. Send me a message. As a matter of fact, I'm not like trying to be rude. Don't say nothing else on this live stream. Direct message me for the sake of yeah, I got you. I feel you. But direct message me and we can talk. I'll give you my number and we can talk more there. But y'all, this is why. I'll be in Somerton soon. I live about an hour from Somerton. When you come down, we'll catch up. This is why. Because of stuff like this. Because the lies they tell, whoever the brother is that he's talking about, I don't know this individual, and I'm sure I know the brother, but we'll find out. No, Kiana, he don't need to tell us that on here. Let him send that in a direct message, because they be on here watching, and let him send that in a direct. And well, I guess by now they can put 2 and 2 together. I guess they got, but still, do it in the inbox. All right. We're going to pray, but this is why. For all of the people who are stuck in that thing and someone telling them your family don't love you and they corrupt and you need to leave them on. Oh, these videos are downloaded to my computer because Facebook gets rid of them after 30 minutes. Now, what I can use some help with is this. So people have been asking, how can I help? Those of us that are tech savvy, we need the, on these videos, this chat feed. I need that. And I've been trying to copy and paste it into a Word document, but it gets when the gentleman is coming, let me know in advance. I'm going to do my best to pull some strings, public strings. Okay. Thank you, Cuppy Doodle. All right. When I copy and paste a Word document, it doesn't always get the replies to the main chat. So we're going to have to screenshot these because I want to keep all of this. We need all of this. For those of us who have been talking about your stories and whatnot, if you are comfortable, put your story on paper somewhere, and we'll talk about how to compile that into some type of a document. Not for the sake of, this ain't me trying to come up with no plans and nothing. I just think that we need to be able to have our hands, because now it ain't no secret that I think we all expect that the hammer's gonna fall on this any day now. And I think that it would be wise for people to just be able to get your hands on stuff. And the reason, now someone might say, hey, don't say all that online. Well, the reason I don't mind saying that online is because I don't mind saying that online. No, when we come, we don't want to. You don't come to a gunfight waving a stick. All right. Oh Lord, take your number. Okay, Jesus Christ. I want to pretend. Let me. All right. I'm going to delete your number off of here, but I got it saved in my phone. I'll give you a call as soon as we get off. And I get it. I get it. I can see you ain't scared no more. You was never scared. You look like one of them radical ones. This needs to go viral so innocent prisoners can be released. Getting the word out does help. I took the number off. I did take the number off. And if you're on here, please, if you're on here and you're not here for right reason, please don't take that number and do nothing silly with it. Those who are watching for the wrong reasons, don't bother people. Don't bother people. All right. We're good. I don't think there's nothing else to talk about. Let's pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, as we are leaving this session, this space, I ask, Lord Jesus, that you will continue to guide the hearts and the minds of each of these that are assembled, those who will watch the replay, those who are doing all they can. I believe fervently with every bit of my ability to believe that it is your will that people who want liberty in life should have it. Lord Jesus, I ask you right now, God, to continue to guide us, to continue to keep us, and Lord, even to protect us. Not necessarily thinking about any physical person, because the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers, the rulers of the darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. This is why we don't judge the church by what spirits are doing. Lord, we ask you, God, even those who have been so wounded by things they have seen, and even those who are triggered emotionally by this, I will repeat this. I think I prayed it last night. Help them to see that this is not what the church is. Lord, I pray for the hearts and the minds of your people, because I do believe, God, that everybody should be a part of some faith-based community that teaches the holistic, healthy word of God. Lord, I ask you right now, God, to help us, God, to be what you have called us to be, that we not push people away, but through love, through understanding, through support, will cause people to want to know you even more. Lord, for we're going to need you for this and anything else. Without you, we can do nothing. And it is in Jesus' name that we pray. All right. Y'all have a good night. And I'm not going to say see you tomorrow in this capacity. We'll come back together the next time we come back together. Y'all, my computer's not a touch screen. Have a wonderful evening.